Who you calling homeless? People call people homeless when they don't have a place to go, right? You don't call the animals homeless. They live out in the wilderness, right? But here's the thing. Even when you live with a relative, a person will say, okay, you live with a relative, even if you're paying rent. If that relative wasn't there, how would you have that place to live in? Suppose a relative throws you out. You have no place to go. If you are on the couch of a friend, that's still considered homeless because you're not living in your own environment where you pay, a fee. Homelessness issue is changing. We have people who are living on highways in Seattle, Washington. We have people living out in the streets in New York City. We have people living on side streets in San Francisco. Where does it end? What do we call homeless? A person could be living in a shelter. A person could be living in a storage. People find places to live. They live on the street. They live at the corner. Here's the problem here. When we look and we start judging people in their homeless environment, as we call it, what do you look at in that case? How do you see it? Okay? Because when we look at people living in parks, living at the train station, living in airports, people living all over this United States or this country or this world, okay? We have to start looking at ourselves, because let's look at how is government helping? How are they planning on making the necessary changes? The homeless issue may have been going on for years and lifetimes, but it's come to a whole different level at this point when you have people living on highways. You have small homes. Why isn't there someone who's taking the small homes and giving it to the homeless? Well, somebody's doing that in California, right? When we look at people making judgment calls, do you know that the first is going to be last and the last is going to be first? The Bible speaks of this. So the people who are judging, pointing fingers, laughing, and poking fun and even harming the homeless, there's a change coming. And if the change is coming and the roles are being reversed, let's see how those people like it. It's important that we figure out a way in which we are not judging others and looking at people under this microscope. Because while you're looking at these people from this microscope and you're saying and making judgments on all these people, someone is going to make that same reference or judgment on you. Are you ready? Because in this lifetime, we need to have more compassion for the people going through these changes. God is taking these people through changes for a reason. You can't speak on the part of these people if you haven't experienced it on your own. I once lived in an apartment, shared it with my cousins. And living there, everyone was paying a certain fee for their part, but I was actually in the same room, paying the same amount as everyone else. These people had their own rooms, and I was still paying the same amount, regardless if I was sharing a room with this person or not. It was uncomfortable because the energy in one person, when a person is angry, you feel that anger. When that person's feeling tension, you feel that tension. Now, people look at this and they say, okay, well, you could have switched and you could have gone and done something else. God placed you with that person to learn from them. And I learned a great deal, and I'm sure she learned a great deal as well, or the other cousins as well. We're all here for a reason. We're all supposed to be learning. What you do with your lesson, do you teach it? Do you grow with it? Do you grow from it? It's important that we realize that these lessons, as well as the judgment, go hand in hand. So while you're judging these people, be prepared to be judged as well, okay? Homelessness, I've been homeless on different levels. I had my own car, and I had to leave another cousin's house because there was so much stuff, so much strain, so much stress that I felt in that house and environment. I lived in Florida at an aunt's house, and I had to leave because she was doing some very unhealthy things. And I wouldn't be here today if I stayed. It's important that we learn these lessons and we grow from them, regardless of what another person says, what they think, what they do. You have to act on your own behalf at times. You have to take life in a different standpoint. But by all means, while you're even making the decisions, while you're making these choices, you are definitely communicating with God. Now, I'm not going to say that I made the healthiest choices. When I left my aunt's house, my cousin's house, excuse me, I ended up living with an aunt at one point. And living with her, I learned a great deal. I showed her a great deal. And it was a great thing for a period of time, but nothing lasts forever. God is transitioning you into different positions in different parts of your life. And while you're going through these changes, while everything is unfolding, sometimes it looks healthy, sometimes it looks unhealthy, sometimes it looks downright crazy. And while you're going through these experiences, you are to ask for God's guidance. During some of this, I didn't even ask God's guidance. I thought I was just doing it and I knew what I was doing. And sometimes you don't know. So you ask for God to impart His love and His direction so that you know and that you're able to move in the right direction. I'm so thankful for each experience because without the experience, I would not be who I am today. Thankful. And it is so lovely being you in each part of your life, in each experience. Just take it and try to really talk to God about how you might be able to handle things better when you're not making the right choices. No one is judging you. Everyone is trying to love the energy and the experience that you're having. But some people do not always understand. You don't even always understand. That's why you need God and you need to ask for direction in every way and throughout the experience that you're going through. Okay? This has been my word. Lovely being you.